president emailed me that he will be absent today. Call to order at 6 p.m. Are there any comments for closing session? Consent to close session?
Good evening, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started.
Reconvenes to open section at 6:37. Pledge of Allegiance, Mr. Mack.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Salute. Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and you may be seated.
Closed session announcements. Approval of stipulation expulsion. Do I have a first motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
Cornell,
Aye.
Lawson,
Aye.
Tapia,
Aye.
and for me is an aye. The board approved the superintendent to proceed with APN 173-19101. Approval of agenda for May 12, 2022. Do I have a first motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
Cornell,
Aye.
Lawson,
Aye.
Tapia,
Aye.
and for me is an aye. Approval of minutes for April 7 and April 20. Do I have a first motion?
I so move.
Do I have a second?
Second. So Christina, that was Lawson first, Tapia second.
Cornell,
Aye.
Lawson,
Aye.
Tapia,
Aye.
and for me is an aye. Reconnection section, Ms. Green.
So I'm going to ask Mr. Mack to help me with this. We have two awards to give today, and that's for Christian Johnson and Myra Friedman. If you guys can both come up.
Okay, so congratulations, Myra. I can't think of another person that's more empowering and deserving of this award. Whatever we need, and I say we because it's not just me, it's all of the staff, teachers, everybody included. Whatever we need, she's on the job. She gets it done. She lets you know that it's done. And most importantly, she gets it done in real time. Whatever we need, she gets it done. Today, we had an author come in today, a perfect example. And we had the whole thing set up for the author. She started to break it down because the board meeting didn't realize we had another assembly in the afternoon, put it all back together, broke it all back down, didn't complain, did it with a smile on her face. And so she embodies for me everything that a mighty hurricane is. She makes my job easy, and she's just a tremendous asset, not only to Zephyr Lane, but to Fairfax District in its entirety. So thank you, Myra. I didn't know.
Mr. Johnson came to us from college level as a soccer coach. And we were very blessed to have him from the very start. He's helped build a comprehensive PE program at the junior high. He's added additional creative sports and activities for our students like pickleball, hockey, frisbee golf, things that they hadn't participated in before. And he makes sure every year that we get the equipment that we need for our kids. He also makes sure that the gym is taken care of and the fields are taken care of and our students have everything that they need. This year, he put on a spectacular track meet. He had lots of help from MOT, but he planned it all and put it all together for our students so that they were able to have a very successful track meet. He also helps with school-wide activities such as PBIS events. He always makes sure the gym's ready for me for awards assemblies and things of that nature. Anytime we have an issue on the yard with our students, he's always present and there and helps intervene and helps with supervision and breaking up altercations that our students might be having. And excited to say that he is going into administrative classes. So looking forward to what we have for him in the future. We really appreciate Mr. Johnson.
Public comments?
We have one public comment. Is it Diana Scott?
Hello, thank you all for being on the board and being here. I just have a couple of things to say. I'm a member of the community. I was born and raised here. I went to Fairfax School. My children went to Fairfax School. Been here a long time. Fairfax has always had a wonderful, wonderful board. I've never had to worry about it. It's just been outstanding. But there's been some stuff that's happened, and I talked about it a little bit before, and I've done some more research. And Mr. Moland is not here, but I voted for him. I was under the impression he was a teacher because it said that on his ballot, and I'm guilty of not doing my research. And then I found out he wasn't a teacher, and I am just shocked and appalled because I'm an educator of 27 years. And I just felt that it was inappropriate for him to put that on there because he didn't put in the work. He's not in the trenches. He's not doing what we do. And I just really think it was inappropriate. I just don't appreciate that at all. And done some more research on the attorney going outside the school's legal, $155,000. That is absolutely shocking. There's only one reason why that happens, and that's fraud. Real simple. You're trying to skirt around the Brown Act. Can't do it. So hopefully you guys get some training and you understand what you can and can't do, get everything back on track. And got an election coming up, and I hope some people make some good choices and read their ballots. Thank you.
Next regular board meeting, June 9, 2022. Board comment? Does the board have anything to report?
I see Mr. Martinez is here. Thank you. I had the pleasure this morning, along with Mrs. Rios. We went to Virginia Avenue to see The Wizard of Oz. Totally blown away from the sets, the actors, everything was perfect. And Mr. Martinez also, she put down all the people she thanked, and Mrs. Levinson has just done a tremendous job. And it just gave me goosebumps. Well, I guess they were sixth graders. Nobody was screwing around. Somebody, it just looked so good and so professional. I was just thrilled. Anyway, that was really heartwarming, and I almost brings tears to my eyes. And also, we had the opportunity, Mrs. Rios and I, again, we got to serve lunch for the classified staff for their Saturday training, and that was nice to see familiar faces. But Mr. Martinez, I love you. I love your school. I love it, love it, love it. Thank you.
Does anybody else has?
Did you want to say anything in Spanish?
Pues yo fui a la Virginia con Miss Lawson y Miss Green y Laura y nos la pasamos de maravilla. Miramos el programa y nos encantó y esto estuvo muy bien. Muchas gracias y a todas las maestras que miramos, thank you. Nos atendieron bien y espero regresar pronto. So, muchas gracias.
So we had a good time. We seen the program and everything. I think the teachers and we had a great time and thank you.
Superintendent report.
Well, this is definitely a busy time of year. There's a lot of celebrations. We had a full day of classified training, and we all had a really good time. It was a long day, but we learned a lot. Mr. Martinez did a training on Google. I wish I would have paid a little more attention to Google Classroom because that's a little more difficult than I thought it was. But he did a really good job. All of our students of coordinators of student support, they provided childcare. I have never seen those lovely people so tired by the end of the day because they had all ranges of students, and we had a bounce house and they were in there with the kids. So I'm pretty impressed that you guys were out there with those little ones all day long. We couldn't have done it without you. Their parents felt safe to sit in a class and learn while you were taking care of their kids. So hats off to you. Thank you very much for allowing our employees to do that. I also had the opportunity to go to Virginia Avenue and see Miss Levinson's 6th grade class present The Wizard of Oz. It was a much needed break, a good laugh. They did a tremendous job, very professional. And this was the first time as superintendent, I got to walk with board members in classrooms, and we walked our kinder wing. And I'm just impressed at what those kindergarten teachers can do with those kiddos at this time of the year. And they're practicing for graduation. Having taught kinder, I know how hard that is. My hat's off to you. And I will say, I'm not worthy, if you are Wayne's World person, I'm not worthy. That is a very difficult job. I also had the opportunity to meet with our coordinators of student support and even our newest one, Anna from VA. Can you go ahead and raise your hand? And also Anita Cruz. She was approved last board meeting and she's going to be starting VA in the fall, and she made time to come out and meet with us. And one of the things that we're going to be doing next year is we're going to be providing like a mentorship program. We're going to call it Student Voices, and it's for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students. The coordinators of student support met. We put out a timeline on recruiting the students that were the interview process, and then set up training opportunities for us as administrators to make sure that we are providing mentorship to some of our students who are, maybe they've got a lot of potential, but maybe they don't have the best behavior, because sometimes our most neediest kids don't ask in the most appropriate way. And so this is a way for us to kind of really get to know them and have daily contact with them. One of the things that we planned is we're going to have 2 workshops, a fall and a spring workshops for these students, where their instructor will be myself. So I am going to commit to mentoring up to 5 of the 40 kids that we're going to have in this program, and make sure that we put together a curriculum that really teaches them how to be productive, to use their voice, and to be heard. We are also planning for them to come and present to the board. And they are also going to present to executive cabinet and be part of our LCAP process, because truly, I believe if you give students the opportunity, they will tell you exactly what they need. And a little later on, Ms. Brown's going to be talking to you about a person that's going to kind of help coordinate all of this work. It is a tremendous amount of work, and this is something that the state is kind of encouraging us to do. And we did apply for what's called a community schools grant, and we did receive it. And Ms. Brown will give you a little more detail as to what that grant entails. But I wanted you guys to hear it first, because I'm going to be asking for some money next month to help put this program together. So look for that on next board agenda. But know that, like I said, it's a team effort. We did meet, and we are going to be committing to mentoring these students and getting them to the level we want them to be. So that's all I have for today.
Administrative Service, Ms. Brown.
Good evening. And Mrs. Green had just mentioned about a community schools grant. And so that is a grant that we did apply for. And it is a 2-part grant. And so board members, in your packets in front of you, you have a handout like this that says, what is a community school? Because when we talk about a community school, we often think about the school that when the children have so many suspensions or get in trouble, they go to an alternative school site, and we call that community school. But what a definition of a community school is, as far as the grant represents and through the CDE, it really is a school that integrates all services for the students. It includes health, mental health, social services, coordination and support with local agencies, partnerships with community groups, and ensuring that all the students at those sites have access to early screening interventions and other strategies. So it's really just about the whole child, providing those wraparound services that you would build this comprehensive community hub of school where a student can get all the supports that they need. There's 4 pillars that create a community school. And those pillars are expanded learning and enrichment time. So you're going to see some familiar terms in here. So those 4 pillars are expanded learning time, collaborative leadership practices, integrated student supports, and active family and community engagement. And so those are the pillars that we're really going to use to build these community schools. And so the grant is in 2 parts. There's the first part of the grant is the planning part of the grant. And so that is the grant that we'll be starting with right now. And that is so we'll start with that. And so later on this evening, you're going to hear about a job description that will identify a person that will help us with that planning stage. And during this planning stage, we'll develop and meet the criteria to go into the implementation stage. And so each school has the ability to become a community school. And when you become a community school, that would be up to $500,000 per school site for the next 5 years to help run that community school. So we're looking forward to planning and then implementing a community school. And so you'll hear a lot more about community schools. I just wanted to briefly touch about the programs coming up.
Business Service Report, Mr. Mack.
Yes, good evening, everyone. I just wanted to make a brief kind of update. There's been some questions about our print room. And so I just want to make sure the board was aware. We did have our whole Fairfax print room vandalized earlier this year, where all our copy machines were broken, and they actually sprayed them full of like fire extinguishers, destroyed ceiling tiles, made quite a mess. So we kind of went and rethought how we're doing this, as we have a lot of leases in there with print rooms. And we actually went out to go off-site, contracting out print services. We're doing informal bidding right now for them, but right now it's coming out to about a cost savings of about $10,000 to the district to outsource our print sources. That would be keeping up all the current printing that we're currently doing right then. They would deliver them back to us, and then we would then get them out to the sites. The procedure would be very similar to what the teachers do now, where they will submit their orders to their principals. Principals would then upload the digital documents where they'd be printed and then delivered. Some other savings, we're also in crunch. We've hired a lot of program specialists. We need places to put them. And so we could utilize that old area of the print room and put some offices in there for our expanded learning offices as that program's expanding. And that right there would be about a cost savings of $60,000 if we had to put a portable somewhere. And the cost of cleaning up that room and putting in the desk space could all be put on one-time restricted funds through expanded learning. So again, there'd be a $60,000 one-time savings there. So that's kind of the direction of why we went to outsource our print room. Just wanted to make sure everyone was up to date on that.
Instruction service report, Mr. Clark.
Good evening. I'm going to present tonight the LCAP update for you. And so I have a packet in front of you. I also have it on the screen behind you here. So if you'll recall last year this time, I came to you with our new LCAP, which was the 21 to 24. And so we're required to give an annual update where we can update it, we can adjust it, what's working and what's not. And so when we're looking at funds, and if you look up on, I know it's behind you, but we are funded in a lot of different ways. We're funded with all of our title funds. We have expanded learning, ACES, 21st century, ESSER, universal TK plans, effective educator, and ultimately everything falls into our LCAP goals. So while things are funded, and a lot of these are what we're using the term braided funding. So some of the objects I'm going to be talking about tonight can be funded from a little bit of everything. And that's what we're encouraged to do because you have revenue coming in from different areas, but our LCAP is where our goals really live. And so the LCAP is that process of identifying your goals, and it gives us the legal control to decide what we want to spend our money on. And so we use data to inform our decisions. And there's a whole process of that educational partner feedback where we get partners from our teachers, administrators, principals, our local bargaining units, parents, and students. And just to kind of remind the board before COVID, how our district was improving. So I have a graph there that shows the growth by content area, and that's points by school. And the blue are our schools compared, and is ELA, and the green is math. So we were making huge growth in our district for the years leading up to COVID, which was really awesome. We were really excited about that. When we look at when we compare that to our state growth, you can see that we are outperforming the state in growth rates, not necessarily in the points from standard, but at the rate that we're improving. All of our subgroups were 2 to 2.5 times improving faster at a higher rate than the state, both in ELA and in math. Both of our groups, our reclassified English learners, were our highest performing groups. So right before the shutdown happened, we had a lot of momentum. And so then what I'd like to show you now on the next couple of slides is you've heard the term loss of learning. And so our LCAP really does address that. So this graph right here shows that in 2020, we had 52% of our students were reading at grade level, and fourth grade, 50%, fifth grade, 36%, and so on. In 2021, after a year of a quarter of everybody at home, and then a year of last year, 3 hours of instruction, and we can, I think, safe to say we can all agree it was not the most effective model to use, but it was what we all had to use. See, you can see that we had dramatic drop off in the number of students who were at grade level in all grades. Third grade, these are cohorts. So this is the same kids. We're comparing apples to apples here. So this is the same group in third grade in 2020. 52% of our students were at grade level. Those same students in fourth grade were at 31. So there was a massive drop off. And this year, what we're looking at right now is we've kind of flatlined. We've stabilized a little bit. So we've stopped the fall, which is good. And I think a lot of that is testimony to just being back at we're having school kids here all day. And so when we look at math, we saw even more dramatic loss of learning with an average of 20% of our students falling behind more than they were from 2020. And it's nice to see that we're starting to turn that trend moving upward a little bit with our students' growth in math. So I'll never forget when we first started looking at this data, Mr. Mack said the quote, he's like, we've fixed them before, we know how to fix them again. So we know the formula, we know what works. And so we're really excited about what we do at our schools. And now that the restrictions are allowing us to get a little bit back to normal, we're able to provide a lot of those services. Our intervention labs have been up and running for reading, and we're really excited about implementing that same for math next year. So in our LCAP, we have 3 goals with 24 actions. And I just want to briefly go over what those are. So, and just kind of highlight the changes, because I presented all of these to you last year. So these are our 3 goals that all of those plans funnel into. So goal 1 is students will demonstrate continuous progress towards mastery of Common Core state standards that will prepare them for college and career readiness through grade level standards-based instruction and targeted support from highly qualified teachers. So what that looks like, our action steps, we have all of our programs that we provide, our resources, our textbooks, our curriculum. So you'll notice in red, those are the things that are new for the LCAP update. So, and under action 2 of goal 1, that's probably where our biggest increase is that we're adding 16 instructional aides to support our math intervention program, which we're really excited about. We're able to hire new TOSAs, academic TOSAs that are going to be focusing on math. So we've seen the success in our reading labs, and we're going to be able to duplicate that for math. Yesterday was really exciting. I got to work with our 3, we have 4 of them. I worked with our elementary academic TOSAs yesterday to start developing our math program for next year. And it's good. We're really excited about it. Some of the things we're adding are we've added online tutoring services we started that this year with tutor.com. So all of our students are able, when they're at home, to get access to a tutor in that time to get help with their homework. We're also looking at adding a tier 1 phonics program that aligns right with our tier 2 intervention. And we're also regrouping with thinking maps that we started the year before COVID started. So we're excited to get those going back up again. Everything else is staying the same for on this slide. Our ed tech, our intervention opportunities with summer school, Saturday school, even though a lot of those will be funded by expanded learning. This is where we talk about braiding funds and multi-funding things so we can free up money in other areas that are more restricted. And then a couple other, we have 2 new action steps, action 10 and 11. This is where we're going to be able to provide and support keep our class sizes below the state but mandated levels. So the state will say your classes can be at 30 to 1 for your younger kids. We're using some of our LCAP dollars to keep those classes small. We want to keep those 24 to 26. Goal 2, nothing changed. This was our goal for all English learners will be provided high quality instruction and English language development in order to make progress towards English language proficiency. The only thing that changed here, this is where we pay for our EL TOSAs, a lot of our instructional aids, and it also pays for our ELD curriculum. The only change here is the name of the program changed. Same program, they just renamed it themselves. It was Rosetta Stone English. It's now called Lexia English. And our final goal is the Fairfax School District will provide supplemental services to increase school connectedness in the areas of student engagement, parent involvement, and school safety. Nothing changed too much here. This is where we're providing all of our supplemental health resources with additional nurses. We're able to fund our parent center and all of our resources through that are provided through the parent center. All of our social emotional support. This is where we can fund all of our school counselors, after school sports clubs, opportunity class. The only thing that really changed here is action 3.8, which is the school resource officer. Now it's still in the plan, but you'll see when we bring the LCAP back to you next month for public hearing and board approval, you'll see $0 next to it because the program's not available right now. So we didn't remove it from the LCAP, but it's out of our hands that the sheriff's office is not providing those right now. So It's still in the plan. And when I met with Mr. Walker and KFTA, they said, we still want this to be a priority, and it is. But right now it's nothing that's out of our control. And then we were really excited as the year went on this year to add a lot of our field trips back in. And so we've been able to provide students the opportunity to go a lot of out of town trips and in-town trips to a lot of really great experiences. So we're excited to continue to pay for those out of LCAP. And we have flown to bring back music. When I say flown, we've posted for a music teacher for the elementary and looking to expand that program to what it was. And I know Mr. Mack has probably said it plenty of times, and I know Mrs. Green has, we are bursting at the seams in this district. And so finding space is premium right now. And so really being creative on so music teachers, that's something we factor in on bringing them back too. And our final action step is how we can provide all of our crossing guards for our students as they walk to school. So the next steps are, we're always accepting feedback. So you're encouraged to meet with Mrs. Brown or, Mrs. Green, any of us, and we'd be happy to talk with you about, listen to your feedback, or you can always give it in a board meeting. On June 9th, we have that'll be the public hearing. That's the June board meeting. And then we have to have that special board meeting in June. It's set for June 25th for the budget adoption. That's also when you will hopefully approve our LCAP. So any questions for me?
Thank you, Mr. Clark. As the LCAP is really the roadmap for our district. So thank you.
Student service, Mr. Gardet.
There you go. Good evening, everyone. So in our student services department and special education, a lot of scheduled meetings between now and the end of the year. Staff is very busy finalizing assessments and completing a lot of IEPs, both academic and speech services. Staff is also preparing for students who qualify for extended school year, reaching out to families, confirming attendance, and going over the details with them. In our mod severe classrooms at Fairfax and Shirley Lane, they're finishing up the California alternative assessment with their students, which is a very long process, one-on-one test that they've been doing. So it's taking them a little bit longer than some of the other testing. And we're also scheduling alternative LPAC testing in both those programs, probably by the end of next week. Our district school psychologists have crisis prevention training scheduled for Saturday here at the PERC, focusing on de-escalation and conflict resolution strategies for both our certificated and classified staff. In our expanded learning department, summer school professional development is also going to be here at Zephyr Lane in the cafeteria / boardroom. We've had all our summer curriculum delivered, and MOT will be delivering that out to our host site on Monday, where Mrs. Davis and her team will begin preparing for distribution to all the teachers who are going to be in session 1. And we also have all of our classroom assignments complete, and we will be mailing out information to our families starting tomorrow. In our health and nursing services, continue to see a steady decrease in our students' absences due to illness, which is super positive and a trend we're hoping will continue. Our district nursing staff right now is reviewing our summer school enrollment, preparing each session for any health or medical needs attending for our students that are attending this summer. Also very excited because we've extended our school Hazel mental health and counseling services to the junior high, which they've saw a big need over there and they really pushed for it. So we're excited to get that going. Also excited to report that we have had a significant increase in our registrations with Hazel Health Partnership, which we are excited to see. And I know that Superintendent Green has also extended quite the challenge to our principals to see that number continue to rise at all of our sites. So I'm excited to see who wins that trophy here coming up pretty soon. So that's it for student services.
Thank you. For number 11, consent section, do I have a motion to approve 1 to 13? If there's no questions or comment?
I so moved.
Do I have a second?
I'm sorry, I could barely hear. Can you repeat that?
For
And then just
number-
one question. Does KFTA or CSEA have anything to report this month? Just wondering.
KFTA?
No. You know, we only have a few short days left before school's over. And as far as KFTA is concerned, everything is well, all is well. Teachers are still teaching, counselors are still counseling. We are looking forward to those upcoming summer breaks. And I'd like to take this opportunity to say thank you for the recognition that we received last week as staff. It's great to work for a district that appreciates their employees. And in fact, I hate to even say the word work. It's more like a privilege to serve here at the Fairfax School District. And I don't speak for myself, I speak for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone from CSEA? Okay.
Nobody? No? Okay. Number 11, consent section. I would like to, for number 1 to 13, if there's any comments or questions. No? Then can I have a first motion? Oh, you did?
Second motion.
Second, okay. Cornell?
Aye.
Lawson?
Aye.
Tapia?
Aye.
And for Miss and I?
Okay, we're going to stop there. And in the consent section, we approved personnel. So if anyone here who has a promotion, a transfer, or is new to the district, so Ms. Cruz, that would mean you. I need a picture. And there's someone who's at Shirley Lane. Actually, Laura. She on, yeah. She's all right. Okay. Yeah, you're not getting out of that picture. You're not getting out. I told you I didn't know. My kids hate it when they see me with my phone because they know that they're going to be in the picture. So Kathy, this is kind of a sad picture for Kathy because she's retiring. And we hope that everyone joins us for the employee recognition and retirement dinner. And you're going to be there because we have a special little gift for you, and we have fun little games that we're going to play. And And Ms. Cruz is new to us, so I'm going to put her on the spot, and if you'd like to say something to the board, because we didn't get to see you last time.
Good evening, board. I was able to come out Virginia Avenue and Mr. Martinez that you spoke so kindly about today. I was able to visit the site. He walked me around. At that same time, I was invited to a cost meeting at the district office with Mrs. Green and the other CSS. Did I get it right? CCS, there we go. I'm not good with the acronyms. And I am so excited to come on board. Everyone has been fabulous. I am ending my school year. I do currently work in McFarland, and I'm very excited. Everything tonight that I saw regarding the LCAP, I know that that's a lot of information, but everything I'm seeing, the student successes. So I'm excited to be a part of that and come on board. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Action item number 12. I would like to 1 through 7 approve. If there's no questions or comment, can I have a first motion?
Motion.
I so move. Second.
Okay, Christina, so we had a first by trustee Tapia and a second by trustee Lawson.
Cornell?
Aye.
Lawson. Aye. Tapia.
Aye.
And for me, it's an aye. Communication from the board and future items. Nothing. For now. Future items, do you want?
So, yeah.
Not that I can think of at the moment. Thank you.
Superintendent, close remarks.
Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, we have an employee recognition and retirement dinner at the Rice Bowl, and we on May 19th, and we encourage everyone to contact the district office and attend. We have some really nice things planned for our employees. We do appreciate every single one of them. As Mr. Walker said, we had Employee Recognition Week. And board, we continue the tradition of having an annual pen. So you have an annual pen back to Fairfax, and that's at your station. And also, all of you have been in my office and you've seen the ducks. So I shared the story of the ducks, and everyone got a duck, and so did you as well. And again, we truly do value every single one of our employees. And we were glad that we were able to provide the taco truck and some donuts and nice little treats for everyone. And, you know, last month, I played a joke on Mr. Beckman and he wasn't here. So I thought, okay, how can I top myself from last month? So I waited until closing remarks to announce who won the attendance trophies, because I can see all those principals out there squirming to see who won the trophy. So with that being said, at 93.52, it goes to Shirley Lane. So I have one last final remark, and that's Fairfax Junior High graduation will be on June 2nd at 7 p.m. And board, I will be contacting you. Actually, Christina will be contacting you with information and instructions on where we're going to be, where we're going to sit. And I look forward to that. So.
Okay, thank you for coming. The meeting is adjourned.